Hey, Savaughn. Hey, Christopher. Welcome to the His and Her Money Show.
Hey, you guys.
Hi,
Hello.
How you doing?
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
We are glad to have you guys
Very
here
much so.
because you all are certified debt destroyers.
Woohoo!
And
Love
we are
it.
so thrilled to have you to come on and share your incredible journey to debt freedom with the audience today. But before we jump into how you guys were able to make this happen, can you say hello to everyone that is tuned in right now and let them know what you two are all about?
All right, I'll go first. Ladies first. I am Savaughn, and I am the wife of my wonderful husband, Christopher. We have two beautiful children, and by day, I am a medical receptionist as well as a first lady of our wonderful church.
All right. My name is Christopher James. I am the husband of Savaughn James for 17 years. I am a court officer by day, pastor at night, husband, and everything in between. And I'm so glad to be here to share our story.
Awesome. So excited to have you both here. So let's dig in. Tell everybody, how much debt have you guys paid off? Well, actually, how much debt you had in total, then how much you paid off, and how long did you pay it off, and what type of debt was it?
Okay, it was a little over $52,000 of debt that we paid off in 32 months, and that consisted of tax payments that we owed for the first time in our lives, medical bills, our car loan, a student loan, and credit cards as well.
Gotcha. So I'm assuming that's all your debt that you had?
That's everything excluding our home. Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. You all paid it off in 2 months?
32 months, yes.
Less than 3 years, you guys are debt free.
That's
That
incredible.
is absolutely amazing. Let's rewind the clock though, because we know that today you sit here debt free, but
Right.
at one point in your life, you guys were accustomed to debt. It was all around you. It encompassed your life. You talked about medical debt, student loan debt, credit card,
Yep.
tax bills. So you all weren't debt adverse at one point.
Right.
What was the thing that shifted the way you all were looking at your finances, looking at your debt situation? What caused you guys to look at each other and say, we need to get out of debt?
Well, I'll speak first. There was one major instance that caused me to really just look at how we were handling our finances. For the majority of our marriage, we have been struggling with finances. Not so much the debt, but just, ups and downs. 6 months into our marriage, my husband was laid off. So from the beginning, we've been struggling. But at one point, we are believers, so we were in a service and one of our friends was speaking and he was talking about there's a shift in the atmosphere and there's something that you need to do in order for that shift to occur. So that just really spoke to me personally at the time that, we have been struggling all this time, but there was something that really needed to be done in order for that shift to occur in our personal and financial life. So that just really just motivated me to make a change, to basically just make a change. And I knew I couldn't do it alone. So of course I had to share with my husband how I was feeling so that we could, move forward from there.
So talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, it was when we had one of our members move her house, and my wife was saying, we got to hear this couple on the radio or something. And I'm like, I'm getting tired of hearing this debt-free talk. I don't want to hear it. I'm just over it. I don't even want to deal with it, man. Who are these people? And she said, Tyler's and was it Tyler?
Talent and Ty.
Yeah, Tyler.
I love it.
I don't want to hear it no more. I'm tired of hearing about it. And I'm just driving, and all of a sudden, I think Tyler he started talking. I said, you know what? I said, this sounds good. I have to really try this because how they're making it seem like it's so easy, man. So I was like, I don't know. I got to give it a try. And so once the bill started going away, and I'm like, you know what? I was sold. I was sold after that. I just kept going. I was disciplined. Just said, you know what? Let's keep going. But I had to hear you guys and the thing to really sink in. We went to marriage counseling they talk about debt freedom and stuff like that, but it really didn't sink in So I happened to hear you guys driving, and I'm like, you know what? Something just spoke to me. It had to be God. It had to spoke to me. He said, you know what? You got to give it a try. And that's what I did, and here we are.
So
Powerful.
Christopher, you bring up a very powerful point, because we talk to a lot of couples, whether we coach them or whether they follow us online. And usually there's one spouse who catches fire first and like, we got to do this. We can do this. And then the other spouse is like, what you just said, I don't want to hear this. Leave me alone. But I want to go back to where you were in that point.
Wait. I think that you have to bring up this point. I think the reason why you were really tired was because you didn't see anything change, right? Over 17 years. This was a constant cycle. And so I think that a lot of people find themselves in that place, and they're like, I don't want to hear this again, because nothing's really changed. It hasn't over this length of time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I wanted you to like open up where your head was, because there is a spouse listening who's trying to get through to their spouse. And that's the response that they're getting. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. So help that spouse who's listening right now kind of understand where you were, why that was your response when your wife brought it to you.
I think, like I said, I've heard it so many times about getting out of debt, and the debt was like a custom way of living for me. I was just comfortable living in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and I knew God was going to make a way. I would have great faith in God and stuff like that, but I just was at the point where I'm in debt. I'm going to deal with it. I'll get to it when I get to it. The bills will always be there, that type of attitude. So when I have a chance to get to it, I'll get to it, and it was more like I'm going to be stuck right here until I'm ready to move on, but once, God speaks to you, and, you have a wife that's like, my wife was very, she deserves all the credit in the world, because I'm telling you, I was over it. I just felt like I was comfortable where I was at. I don't want to talk about it. We're going to get through it somehow. I just felt like this was it, and the Holy Spirit really just dealt with me and said, you know what? You got to just allow, this to happen. And I was able to listen spiritually, and I just was able to move forward from that. So it's just all about listening to the Holy Spirit.
That's right.
Now, I want to dig into it. I want to keep going, because this is crucial.
So good.
You said while you were talking right there, part of your attitude was, I have a lot of faith. God will make a way somehow, right? But there's a verse in that Bible that we all love that says, faith without works is dead.
That's right.
But there are a lot of people in the mindset where you were. They call it faith, right? They call it faith. I'm going to trust in, and he'll make a way.
And you should.
You should, but we have to cross-reference again that faith without works is dead. So talk about how you were there mentally with, I'm going to just, God's going to make a way somehow, and then move to, I got to try this. You put action with your faith.
And
talk about that process.
When it's all said and done, that is God making a way.
Exactly. So I had to, as we all know, faith is an action word. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And so I had to put the action into what I was believing. For so long, I've heard get out of debt for so many times, but I never really practiced it. And faith is something you have to practice. It's like everything else in your life. You have to practice getting out of debt. You have to sacrifice. You have to be disciplined, and all those things. And so all of it just came back full circle, because that's all I know is faith. That's all I've been taught. And so I had to put it into practice. And what better way to put it into practice than getting this mountain of debt off of your backs? Because I want to be able to show the members that if we can get out of debt, you can do the same thing. And that was my other focal point. A lot of leaders always talk about getting out of debt, but they're in debt. Don't have credit cards, they got 5 credit cards. So I really wanted to be an example to the other ones, my wife and I, to be examples to other people, to let them know you guys can do the same thing if you apply yourself. And once again, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So you have to, your money where your mouth is, and let God do his thing.
Love it. I absolutely love it. So after you heard us while driving in the car, what was the next steps? I'm sure that you approached your wives, and Savaughn, you could talk about that as well too. How did you guys move forward in tackling this debt?
Well, the first thing we did, one of the books that we read was Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. So the first thing that we did was to list our debts from least to greatest, and just writing it out was just an eye-opener in itself, being able to see exactly how much money it was that we were facing. So we wrote it out in a list, and from there we did a budget, I definitely am a budget queen.
Yes, amen.
Budgets are my jam. So that was something that we put into place right away. And I remember one of either your podcasts or your videos, Talit had said, knowledge applied is wisdom. And that really stuck with me. So I was just anxious, ready to just apply what I had heard and to start making moves. And starting to make those moves started with that budget.
Yep.
So that was the first thing we did, was make that budget. And from there, history.
How easy or tough was that? Because it sounds like this was something new. You all weren't budgeting. You all been married a while. You all have been operating a certain way for a long time. And this was a new discipline that you were infusing into your marriage. Talk about that process, because for a lot of people, they have fear about trying to budget. They have preconceived notions.
Or they know it in their mind. I hate it when people say that. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I spend all my bills. It's like, it's in your mind.
Yeah.
Like, get paper, get it out of your mind.
So talk about that process.
So as far as us budgeting, it was new to us, but I'm an organized cleaning fanatic. So to have it written down on paper was like, it just gave a spark to me to be able to see it and have a plan of how we were going to attack things. Was definitely something. It was new, but it was also exciting at the same time, because we were trying something new. We were on this journey together, because I think it is so important for you to, if you're going to attack this as a married couple, you have to do it together. It's the only way that you're going to make it. So, like I said, it was very new, but it was exciting. And we definitely got our kids involved, just knowing that we are on this journey, and we want to make sure that they see that you can start at one point, but you don't have to end at that point.
Right. That's right. I love that. So how did you get your kids involved? What are their ages?
One just turned 13, and the oldest will be 16 in August.
So they got opinions.
So they're about 10.
Oh, yeah. They're both girls, so they have lots and lots.
Oh, yeah. Yes. We have 2 girls, and the oldest, she's 7, and the youngest is 5, and they already have it at that age. So
Yes.
Imagine. So tell us, how did you get them involved? Like, you all had preteens and teenagers.
Yes, exactly. Well, we basically started giving them an allowance. And it took us some time to give them allowance, but we thought that it was very important to include that in our budget, so that they would see that they're not only, the ones that have to keep track of their money, they're going to see their parents keeping track of their money as well. So we wanted to involve them in that way by giving them their allowance, where they're paying their tithes, they're saving, and when they're having a section of spending as well. So we involved them in that way. We showed them the list of debts, so they could see exactly what needed to be paid off. I remember when we were paying off that last debt, in the thick of it, they were our little cheerleaders. Like, are we almost there? Are we gonna make it? And even, things that we had to cut out, such as cable.
Oh, yeah.
We made compromises, because they, like you said, have opinions, and they feel that they need certain things. But we made compromises, such as, allowing them to have their cell phones where they had access to internet. But we just shared with them. We were very open with them about what we could and could not do. There were times that they wanted to go to, the movies or out to eat with their friends, but we had to let them know, is it in the budget? So, and they kept track of us as well. They definitely kept track of us as well. I would go shopping, and they would say, do you really need that? Do you really need to buy that right now? We could be putting this towards groceries. So they were very much involved, and I think they enjoyed it.
So how did you guys, if you did you all get your church involved? Did you tell anyone? Did you tell family and friends? And how was that process for you?
We told everybody. Everybody that we could
reach out to.
We told everybody. We definitely told our church. We definitely told our friends, because we wanted them to be aware that if we couldn't attend certain events, this is why.
Right.
We told our family, my parents, his parents. So they were very much aware of what we were doing, and we were excited about it. So, when you're excited about something, you pretty much are going to tell everybody about it.
Policy Genius guarantees the best life insurance price for you and those you love. It's so simple to protect your family today in 5 easy steps. 1. Calculate quotes. 2. Compare companies. 3. Apply online. 4. Receive expert advice. And 5. Rest easy. It really is that simple. Calculate, compare, apply with Policy Genius. For more info, head on over to hisandhermoney.com/Policy Genius.
So let's continue to talk about strategy. You talked about like a real turning point for you all was getting on a budget and getting on it together as a family, not just you two, but your kids as well. So you cut out cable. Were there some other things? Because people are listening like they have a desire to figure this thing out, and they're wondering, because you all destroyed over $50,000 in less than 3 years. So you all had to be doing some real strategic things along this path to get to the finish line. So can you kind of unpack some of those for us?
Yeah, so one of the first things was cutting cable. We also did couponing.
That was good.
I got into meal planning. That helped tremendously with the grocery bill. We did, what else did we do? We tried everything. I worked overtime. His job wouldn't allow it, but my job definitely allowed it. So I worked overtime when I could. We did the cash envelopes in the beginning so that we wouldn't swipe the card and get happy with our cards. So
I was used to that. I wasn't used to that part, like cash envelope. What in the world is that? I want to swipe my card when I want to swipe it, but I had to be obedient. And like I said, she was the one that started the whole thing. I give a lot of credit because I'm telling you, I was not on board and I was just fighting it tooth and nail. But once I see the bills start going away, the school loans start going away, I said, okay, now I'm on board. Now we can roll with this. I'm like, I'm all in now.
So Savaughn, talk about that period though where Christopher wasn't all in. How did you maintain, not give up, not get discouraged? Because a lot of people, they give up. They say, forget it. Well, he's not seeing eye to eye. She's not seeing eye. Forget it. I just forget it. How come you didn't?
I am a person that is better reached through action and just doing things versus, reading something in a book. I would prefer to learn something by doing it myself. So I just had the mindset of just showing. I said, I'm just going to have to show him that this is going to work. So just even with the smallest of bills, if I can show him that me working overtime is going to get rid of this bill, then he really can't fight with what is the actual result.
And I think too, real quick, while all this was going on, we still paid our tithes. That was the main thing. And like I said, God gets his money first. And we tithe from our gross. And that's the main thing. I said, I don't care what we do, but we have to make sure we pay our tithes first. That's the first thing I told her. We got to do that first, especially being in leadership. Tithes are important. And some people, we've done that. We try to make way and skip our tithes and do this, and we still end up not have no money available. So we got to give God his money first, and then after that, we'll figure it out, and then God definitely did the rest.
I'm happy you brought that up because we're Christians, and we totally believe in giving our tithe because it's not ours in the first place, right? So we just give it back to God because it is his. And we get a lot of questions. A lot of people ask, well, I'm on this debt-free journey. They almost look at it like it's optional. Can I shave that off? Can I cut that part out?
Gotta understand. I'm trying to get out of debt.
And we have seen miraculous things. God has moved on our behalf because we know we have been faithful in that one thing. That's one thing that we would never compromise.
Ever.
Couldn't even compromise on. So talk about that. I think that's so important because I know a lot of people who are listening, they probably have that same question or they have that same thought. Why did you guys continue to give your tithe?
I think that's something
for those that are listening, a tithe is just simply 10% of whatever you earn back to God.
I think that's something, like I said, we something that we had to do. We tried it other ways of not paying our tithes, and then it still didn't work. So we had to try something. I said, you know what? We have to continue to pay it because we want to be faithful to God. Deuteronomy 8:18. I always use this verse. He said, I've given you the power to obtain wealth. Okay, I've given you that power. So if that money belongs to me, if you be obedient and giving your tithes and offering to me, I'll open up a window of heaven and pour a blessing that you won't have room enough to receive. So, once again, it goes back to faith again, applying what you know and teaching other folks that, yeah, we're not going to skim out on God, and do everything else. He gets that money first. And once we do that, once again, it's a basic, simple principle, God first, and then take it. God will always bless you for your obedience. Obedience is always greater than sacrifice.
And I just want to add to that, because I can't say it's only because of that decision, but I know it greatly played a part in when we first started our debt-free journey. I was not working. So I had been out of work for 2 years. And when we got the tax bill, that's when I said, okay, we got to do something, because it's not going to happen on just his check. He makes good money, but it's not going to cut it.
In Massachusetts,
against
it's expensive.
Against this tax bill. So just by being obedient in our tithes, I just started to see how God blessed us. I was supposed to actually start back part-time, but it was just a crazy little thing where the person that actually took my old job was leaving. So my boss begged me to come back full-time. So it just all kind of worked its way out where I was able to get back in full-time. We thought we were going to be on this journey a lot longer than 32 months because I was not working and because I was only going to go back part-time. But God bless, he moved in a way for us to have it work out where I was able to go back full-time and just move it along a lot faster.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So what was your process like when you guys were throwing money at debt? Were you all waiting till the end of the month just to apply the extra? Were you guys, like, anytime you had any extra money, you were just throwing it towards principal? How was the payoff process? What was your technique?
So for us, we treated his check, because I wasn't working when we first started. We treated his check as the check that's gonna pay for, lights, gas, utilities, the house, everything. And my check was not all towards the debt, but probably 90% of it went towards the debt out of my check. So we pretty much started our budget on his check alone, and then when mine came along, it was more like we had to put majority of my check towards the debt.
So were there any obstacles that popped up as you all were attempting to do this? And if they did, how did you guys fight through them and not get off track?
Well, we had two major obstacles. The first would be that I would say it was all within the last year of us paying off the debt. It was last summer, I believe in June. My daughter was sick. We didn't know what was going on with her. We had been to the ER 3-4 times, trying to figure out what was going on. So we ended up finding out that she has an autoimmune disease that is genetic, but it's not something that she can't live with. So basically that was the first obstacle, because at first we were going to the ER. We know the ER is not cheap. And those bills from the ER, as far as her medications that they were trying to figure out, putting her on, just trying to figure out what was going on, those added up very quickly. And the second thing was that I believe in the last month of us paying off our debt, my husband was in a car accident and his car was totaled. So that was loss of a vehicle that we needed, to get around, for him to get to work, for me to be able to do what I needed to do to stay and do overtime. But in that moment, debt was not the priority. But as we, made it through that situation, thank God he's still here today, and that we made it through that situation, and we made a decision just in that situation that we definitely want to make sure that we take care of this debt, because we don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next.
That's right. And that's one of the reasons why we do what we do, is because you don't know the future. But one thing I do know is the Bible talks a lot about how we should handle money and our money. And so you're absolutely right. Just the next day, anything can happen, which can cause you financial burden, financial stress. And so it's so important that you do position yourself and your family in the right way financially.
Yeah. But, you guys fought through all that. And that day came where you all were able to look at each other and say, today's the day.
Yes.
We're going to make our very last debt payment. For those listening who dream of that day, who wonder what that feels like, can you paint the picture? Can you describe how that day went?
Oh man, I just remember coming home from work and just saying, Savaughn, we're gonna pay off this debt, this last car payment. I was just out all work thinking about it all day. I couldn't even focus on my job. I was just thinking about it all day. Like, is it 4:30 yet? Is it 4:30 yet? Like, you all right? I said, nah, man. Like, I'm just like a kid in a candy store. I never dreamed that this day would come where we can say we were actually debt free from the very first day we came into our marriage with debt to come to this point now, 17 years later. I mean, I wish we did this a lot earlier. I wish I would have did it years ago, man. But it was just exciting to know that we go to that bank and get this money, man, that car's ours and we are out of debt. I could do cartwheels out of that place. I was so happy. I was ecstatic. It was unbelievable.
We brought our girls with us to the bank because they knew that we were paying off that last debt for our car payment. And they stood at the counter with us as we said we are here to pay our final payment on our car. And I feel like Chris was jumping up and down behind me. I couldn't really see. But yeah, it was an exciting moment. I was just in shock. I couldn't believe that we had actually done it after all this time that we had been on this journey. It was unreal.
We've been through a lot, man. We lost the house. We got a house taken away from us in this project. I mean, it was a mess. I mean, we went through a lot in our young marriage, but God kept us. God is faithful, and we went through a whole bunch of stuff to get to this point. So I mean, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I really, that's why it's more exciting for me, man. Like, man, we actually did it. We actually did it. Can no one say we didn't do it? With the help of God, we did it and lean on each other. So we did it.
I like what you said. When you said what you said, it's like I felt chills go down my arm. After being married for 17 years and being able to feel such freedom for that day that you wish that you would have only done it sooner.
Yes.
That's what we try to tell people. Like, today is the best day to start.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we wait for order, or we wait for, well, let me get this job first, or we're trying to put things in place. But today is the best day to actually get started. Because now that you have crossed that finish line, you're probably like telling others, hey, do it.
That's right.
Sooner than later, because it's going to be all worth it. I absolutely.
That's right.
How did it impact your marriage? I mean, being 17 years marriage, I think that is common. It's not as uncommon what you guys went through, that a lot of marriages, deal with financial issues or strife, for probably the remainder of their marriage. So talk about the impact. How did it impact your marriage now that you all are completely debt free?
Well, I'll just say that it definitely made us a lot closer. We discussed everything from finances to what we're going to eat for dinner. It's just everything is out there on the table. And we have a sense of freedom that we can talk about these things and not feel like we're going to be bopped over the head by each other. So it's just brought us a lot closer. We communicate a lot more often. We are definitely, I feel that our marriage is a lot stronger. I mean, we've been working on it for 17 years, but because of this journey, it's made it a lot stronger.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's I want to be able to help other people, and that's what I like doing. We could help other people and not worry about, we wish we could help somebody, but no, we want to be able to help others, to be a blessing to other folks as God has blessed us. And it's just one of those things. It's very rewarding to feel like, man, we don't have to worry about this, that, the other. But at the same time, we don't want to get foolish either, thinking we got a debt and let's go buy this, buy that, buy this. Because I was thinking that 65-inch screen TV looks real nice in the living room, but I'm like, watch my Patriots on Sunday afternoons. That's my next goal, but I have to just slow it down just a little bit. But we got a debt. We don't want to get foolish either. Make that decision. But no, it's a lot. It feels good to have that weight off your shoulders, that weight of debt. And the Bible talks about when you have a debt, to pay it off. Don't depend on other people to say, oh, well, God do not pay off what you owe so that God will bless you. And I've heard that verse in Romans so many times, but we have to be able to pay what we owe at the end of the day.
Yeah, I love that. So what are some of your next goals? I mean, now you guys are debt free, so you have a little extra cash as well coming in, right? So what are your plans? What's next?
Well, because we are just faithful listeners of the His and Her Money Show, we are definitely on the journey to pay off our mortgage.
That's right.
So we are just so excited for that journey. We purchased our home in October of last year, so we're giving ourselves about a year up until October 31st, just to get settled, rearrange the budget. But from there, we are just ready to destroy this mortgage.
Yeah, y'all got what it takes. I mean, you all have shown yourselves and proven to the world that you all have what it takes to get out of debt. So I know for a fact you guys are going to definitely knock out that mortgage.
You got to get Christopher his TV for the NFL season start.
It's my NFL package, man. I know cable, but I said, we'll make it work. I can watch it on YouTube. I missed the NFL ticket, man, but had to let it go.
Yeah.
We're big on legacy here, and it sounds like, in between the lines, it sounds like even your children changed as a result of going on this journey. What type of impact did this have on them?
Well, I could say for our daughter, who is going to be 16, she got her first job this summer, and she's like, Mom, I need you to help me. I don't know how much I should save. I don't know how much I should spend. So it's made an impact on her that when she got her first job, she wanted to make sure she was doing it right. And so that was just a joy to see that what we did was a true example to them. And for my youngest, that is our fantastic, spectacular child who is all about the glam and the glitter.
Yeah.
So we're still working on her, but she is, I know that she has definitely, experienced a lot through this journey. And she also is adamant about paying her tithes because she wants to get out of the way so she can go buy her glam and glitter. So, so I feel like we've made a good impact on them.
You all said that, even from the early onset of your marriage, finances was a battle from the jump.
Yes.
And this hasn't been an easy road. Yet your journey, your fight to debt freedom was a 32-month journey. But your fight to get order in your finances has been going on for much longer than that. And there's someone listening who all they know is struggle. All they know is getting by. All they know is survival. And they're not sure if they have what it takes to become debt free. How would you encourage them if you had the chance to talk to them?
I would always tell people, keep God first in your life. If you don't know, put him first in your life. And there's other people you can look up to that have gone through the same thing. We all go through to encourage one another, and that's what I always say. You guys encourage me. My first time I hearing y'all, I was like, man, I gotta try this out because how they're talking about it, they sold it to me. I didn't even know y'all from a hole in the wall. I said, man, who are these people? I said, yeah, let me see what they talking about. I never heard. Who are these people? So when I bought into it, then it was like, man, it was an unction. Say, I got to do this. So, and it encouraged me. So my hope is that someone listening will be able to know if it encouraged me the same way it can encourage you, and just keep grinding and don't give up. Easiest thing to do is to quit. I could have quit a long time ago and said, you know what? This ain't for me. This is for the birds. I'm out of here. But no, I have to, you got to put a stop to it at some point. Say enough's enough. And I want to see us prosper and to experience life in a different type of way and being debt free. You can't go wrong. So I definitely, will encourage anybody, just keep grinding. Don't give up. Keep God first. And you keep, allowing, the money that you make to, as they say, be intentional about your money. Going to Dave Ramsey a little bit because he helped me out. I've read a couple books. One book I only read. She read most of them. I only read one book. What's it called? Rich Man, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The one book I read. That's it. But it spoke to me. So I'm just how I ran with it. And hey, that's how I look at it.
I just like to add to, as far as just speaking to that person that doesn't feel like they could do it, I would say to them that if you're tired of being stuck, because I feel like we were stuck for a very
Long
long time. And at some point, you just get tired of it and you have to do something different. So if you're tired of being stuck, if you're tired of feeling like you can't make the money moves that you want to make, that all you have to do is just give it a try. There's no reason why you shouldn't at least try it. I know that for a fact that you will, reap the benefit on the other side. But if you're afraid to try, I would say just jump out there and do it, because you can you're definitely gonna win.
Christopher, Savaughn, we are proud of
Very
you all.
much fun.
You all decided, made a decision. You all put in the work, and you all crossed the finish line. $52,000, 32 months. Congratulations on your debt freedom. And thank you so much for sharing with the audience today.
Congratulations.
Thank you
guys
so much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.